I told you he incarnates success. I told you he was the Secretary of State in 2 ministries in this country, and he is a father. He's married and father of 5. I hope I'm not making a mistake. He's somebody who loves children, so he did much. He increased the population of Cameroon, but that didn't stop him from being who he is and being the family man and being the person who serves the nation. Today, he's no longer a public figure, in quotes, but he still makes he has some amount of impact in our lives, and he'll be telling us all about that. Please welcome Shey Jones-Yembe. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
You don't look old at all. Man, you look young.
No, but I'm old inside.
Sit down. You know, when we hear these words, ministers, we expect to see old people and things like that, but you look good.
Maybe it's just the appearance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just the appearance.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me, are you a successful person?
Well, success is defined by other people.
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody is smiling.
You work hard and people think that you are successful, but you think that you have not yet achieved, and you keep working very hard.
Oh my gosh. You know, the way you make I have a lady who is going to be here very soon. She has this thing about success.
Yeah.
And she tells me just exactly what you just said. You keep working hard.
You keep working hard.
All right.
Struggling to do the best out of every situation.
Mm-hmm. You've been in government for quite some while. You were Secretary of State at the Ministry of Public Works.
And transport.
And Transport. Then it was called Public Works and Transport.
Yeah.
And then later on, you became Secretary of State in the Ministry of Housing and Town Planning.
Yeah.
What did you achieve? Because at times, Cameroonians are still complaining of bad roads, not enough roads, the town planning is still bad. What did you achieve as a person?
Yeah, let me complete. I was Secretary of State in the Ministry of Public Works and Transport.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, we became Ministry of Public Works, and
Yes.
I was reappointed as Secretary of State for Public Works in charge of roads.
Mm-hmm.
And later on moved as Secretary of State to the Ministry of Housing and Urbanism, what is today the Ministry of the Urban Development and others.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on moved to the Ministry of Public Investment, still as Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
So you're asking me what I achieved.
Mm-hmm.
We did some few things, especially at the beginning in the Ministry of Public Works. We did a lot of reforms. It was just about when they were doing a lot of reforms with the sectoral program. I think the privatization of road maintenance is part of some of the achievements that we did with Minister Boka, who's today Secretary of State for Defense in charge of the gendarmerie.
Okay. Now, I will not be talking too much, and I will not go into your job very much.
Yeah.
Okay. But most people like you, people think you were born with a golden spoon in your mouth. I understand your father was not that poor, but is it because you came from a good background that made you who you are today, or you can say it's personal hard work?
I think it is not that one, because at that time, it was just sufficient.
Can you tell us that time? That time is about 19...
In the 60-something, 70s.
Good.
In the 70s, early 70s. At that time, it was sufficient to get your first school certificate, to pass your common entrance and get the barest minimum. Even if your father was just doing coffee, he could send you to secondary school. So much of it depended on you, not on your parents.
Yeah.
By the way, after that, everything else was on scholarship. People went to university purely on scholarship.
Yes.
Whether it was Yaoundé or was going abroad, it was on scholarship. So it didn't really depend on how rich your father was or poor he was.
So you had to use your coconut, use it.
You had to work hard, and I must say too that God does a lot of it for you too.
Okay.
But you have to do it so that he finishes it.
All right.
He fructifies your effort.
All right. For those who don't know, you went to primary school in, you were born in Cambe.
Yes,
You're
I was
from
born in
Cambe.
Cambe.
Exactly. And you went to primary school in Cambe.
The Presbyterian Primary School in Cambe.
Yes. You went to the Joseph Merrick Baptist College.
I went to Joseph Merrick Baptist College with a lot of your colleagues.
Yes. Can we have some of their names?
We have Banda Gogomu.
Yes.
He was 2 years ahead of me. Kalabuse was like some 2 years behind me. Adamu Musa was some 4 years ahead of me. Kalabuse, by the way, was my dormitory member, and I used to call him my small.
He was your dormitory. You used to call him your small.
Yeah,
Can you just give me one thing that some of them did that was bad, so that I can always remind them that I'm not the only bad person?
I will tell you that after we leave this place.
All right. Then you went to Kasbambali, and you went to Germany, where you continued your studies in
After Kasbambili, I went to Polytechnic.
Of course.
I got a scholarship after Kasbambili, but it delayed. So I passed the common entrance into Polytechnic.
Yes.
So I went there and did 1 year, passed into the second year, just when the scholarship matured.
Okay.
And then I moved to Germany.
What did you study in Germany?
I studied civil engineering, did the equivalent of a master's.
Okay.
And but at the same time, did the equivalent of a first degree in hydrology and water supply.
Okay.
So that's
now, you
finished.
came back and you got into the Cameroon, the general, what do you call it? National Civil Engineering Laboratory, what we call today
Labogenie.
Labogenie.
That's
Yes.
the short name for it.
And the good news came in 1992 when you were appointed Secretary of State. How did that make you feel?
You know, I went to a theater that evening by Ngome. He's a journalist. That evening I went to a theater, and when I got the news, was like, the first thing was I slept that night. I couldn't sleep because the first problem was, how was I going to ever address a crowd? I had not addressed a crowd before that time.
Right.
So my worry was not about the work I had to do, but how was I ever going to face the crowd?
All right.
But when the first crowd came, like the appointment came with all the courage.
All right. Now let's just go, because people think people like you are not ordinary people. Let's go and watch some of their pictures that will make people understand that you're just an ordinary man. Can we have the guest feed, please?
Let's watch it together.
All right. So you usually come back home, and what puzzled me with these images was that you're sitting in front. We believe boss, they sit behind now, Oga.
No, I sit in front. I only sit behind when I have to travel a lot. But in town, I sit in front so that I can converse with the driver. That's my best partner, because I spend most of the time with him.
With her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's your wife?
Yeah, that's my wife, Caroline.
Can we have her name?
Caroline.
Caroline.
Yeah.
How do you call her? Do you have a pet name for her?
Mama.
Mama.
Yeah.
Oh, Mama.
And then she calls me Papa anyway.
She calls you Papa.
Yeah.
Do you feel people should sit Mama and Papa in their house?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I get home, we spend most of our time upstairs, where we have downstairs we receive people, and if we are not outside, we are upstairs where we do a little bit of our stuff. You go on the computer, you watch TV, and then you realize that up there we have just normal chairs, not the sofas, because sometimes I had a back problem.
Does she always do this for you, taking care of you this much?
No, not always. Most of the time, things like coffee, I do them myself.
Yes.
But sometimes when I come, she wants to do that for me.
Relax.
Yeah.
To remind you that you're the Papa,
Yes,
and she's the mom.
That I'm in charge.
I know. So tell me, I think you're doing some money business. You look for money out. You come in the house, you look still for money.
Yeah, I do a few things.
All right, because
one of your colleagues, Tawe Nelson, knows about it. That's my picture when I was still very young, like 5 years or so. Oh,
this
one
is
now
in secondary school?
Okay, this is when I was young, like 4 years, with my junior brother. This is in secondary school. Right up there on the right is Calabose.
All right.
This is me when I was graduating from secondary school with my father, Joseph Merrick Baptist College. This is when I was in Polytechnic, working on a machine.
In Yaoundé?
In Yaoundé, Polytechnic Yaoundé. This is still secondary school.
Apaga and Salamanda.
Yes, you see how the guy is well dressed. And
you do karate?
I used to do karate. I did karate here with a few guys. Metre Hanak, we did it together. This in Germany when I just went to university.
Okay.
These are the pictures we used to take and send back here to impress.
I know!
Like Caroline used to get some of those pictures. That's when I was doing my stage in Germany.
Oh my, I see Mama there.
How do you see the pictures behind us?
I tell you.
Wall?
There you were really
I was on vacation. So I came. That's Caroline with me when I was on vacation here. That's still on vacation when I came over on vacation. She was at the University of Yaoundé. This is when we got married 89. That's our family when we were with 4 kids.
Okay.
And now there are 5 kids.
All right.
This is a picture of 5 kids. We took this picture in the Bahamas.
All right.
In the ship. Our first daughter is there. This is when I was in government.